Hey there viewers, it's Charlie, I'm back again, and welcome to my first review of 2021. Now, that's not to say that this is my first video of the year, as I have shown my Transformers collection as of December 2020 recently. And well, if you've seen that video, then you'll probably recognize this figure. Today, I shall review Generation 2 Laser Optimus Prime. Oh my god. This guy is, well, just look at him. I mean, pretty much this is Optimus Prime as a tanker. And, well, I don't know what else to say, so let's just have a look at the figure. And let's start out with the cab section. Now, as you can see, this is probably the first Optimus Prime, not counting the Action Master, because that didn't really transform, it was more just a vehicle. This is probably the first ever Optimus Prime to transform into a long-nosed truck. So, this guy's sort of... This is like the great grandnephew of movie Optimus Prime. But as you can see, unlike with movie Prime, there are a few color differences. I mean, for one, this isn't really Optimus Prime colors. I mean, sure, we still have bits of red here at the front and at the arms, but as you can see, it's primarily black. Like the actual cab and the wheelbase are both black. Having a look at the detail, seeing how this is Generation 2, we have the actual, well, we have his name there because Generation 2 just did not care about robots in the skies. They had to show the actual name on every figure. The back, and you can see a battery cover there. This bit sort of droops down, I don't know why. Here we can see the Optimus Prime sticker again, although it's in better condition than the other one. Got the very front with the grille and the headlights. Got a visible interior there. And the underneath, of course, like with every Transformer, it just shows the underneath of the... Well, it shows the robot mode. Now, normally, seeing how this guy's called Laser Optimus Prime, he normally has a gimmick. Normally, if you push this button, it lights up these little headlights. Although with my figure, it doesn't work. I've tried it with batteries and it just doesn't work. I mean, it is like a 25-plus-year-old figure, so what can you expect? But unfortunately, that means he can't really do his main gimmick in robot mode. But I'm not too fast because I do make this argument. This guy was recolored into a skirt for robots in the skies, and he had that figure gutted from him, so yeah, it's not that big a deal for me. So I mean, it is a big deal. You can straight up just see the robot feet here. It does sort of clash with the black wheelbase. But that's enough of the cab section. Now, let's look at the actual tanker section. And, well, right off the bat, look at this. Look at this huge sticker. I mean, for one, we have a Prime burning down a forest. So, Prime hates nature. But right on the side here, you can see it just says Optimus Prime. And even on there, you can see it says Octane. And it looks like it's been graffitied on. So, I don't know, maybe the Decepticon Triple Changer Octane just did a bit of graffiti on this. I mean, it would make sense. This figure's a tanker. Octane transformed it into a tanker. This is just graffiti from Octane. I mean, that's not really official. That's just a bit of headcanon I made up, but come on, see how it says Octane and it looks like it's graffiti? Come on. I'm fairly certain Octane just wrote his name on here just to be cheeky. Either that or it's just a cute little reference to him. Going on the back even has some detail. Here it says OP 95. Of course, OP is Optimus Prime. And 95, well, this figure came out in 1995, so that is a pretty good reference. The other side, which also has Prime being a dick to a forest, and the Optimus Prime and the Octane graffiti there. The underneath, which actually has a bit of detail, which is pretty cool. And the top, well, I'll turn it around for this. Here we can see an actual gimmick. As you can see here, it says lock. And while you see this here, this turn knob, and these little blue things that look like they have the Generation 2 Autobot insignia. Well, this is actually part of a gimmick. You see, if you actually turn this knob, that sounds wrong, but if you turn it around, then eventually, if you saw that should have missed me. There we go. What it does is, it fires these blue discs that have the Generation 2 Autobot insignia on them. Or if you turn this upside down, it's the Car Robots Decepticon symbol. Yeah, don't ask me. But these discs fire. Normally there's also a 5th disc, but I only have 4 of my copy. So excuse me as I try to round up the other discs that were fired. So yeah, it fires 5 of the discs, although as I said, I only have 4. And to reload them, well, as you can see, they have these little notches here. And if you have a look at the actual way they do it, as you can see, it just propels this little gray thing forward to shoot them. But to put the discs in, make sure the little grooves line up with these notches and the actual firing system. And just load them in one by one. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about the tanker. And to attach it on here, you can see this little notch, or this little post, and this little hole here in Prime. If you just drop that in there. Here we have Prime with his I cannot even speak. Here we have Prime with his tanker. Although before I get onto his robot mode, I have to show off his packaging. I actually have the packaging for this guy, although it is quite beaten up. I mean, what can you expect? As I said, this is a 25-plus-year-old figure, so having a look at the actual packaging. Here we can see Optimus Prime. Normally he has a sword, although as you'll see in robot mode, I sadly don't have that. Transformers. And if you look beyond this little fold here, this used to be $14.99. And I got this for £36, including the postage. With light-up weapons and radio fire launchers. Yeah, light-up weapons, I wish. Shocking Hazard, of course. Autobot leader, Laser Optimus Prime. Do not aim the weapons at eyes or face, because, I mean, come on. Do you want to get injured? Age is 5 and up, so it's okay for me. And here we can see that the tanker converts into a high-powered battle station, which we'll see later on. Sadly, with this side, the entire flap's just missing. Although the other side, Here we see Prime in vehicle and robot mode. The underneath, which just shows the same. And it turns out this is a USA version of the figure. So how it got here in Europe, I don't know. The top, which also shows the same. And finally the back. Here you can see the figure itself with the actual stickers, unlike my version. Here we have the actual battle station. Here you can see a missile launcher, a tower, rocket launcher, the actual rocket itself, the laser cannon, and it just talks about the batteries. Here we can see that this was 6 robot points. Here it shows what comes with the actual figure. And one thing that stood out to me is, well, as you can see, it has this little, well, air bellows thing firing the rocket, which I'll show later on. If you've seen the G2 Hero Megatron figure and the Prime figure, or Sure an Arch Force, you'll recognize that. Although, as you can see here, it's orange. And I'll come back to this later on when I actually show the battle station modes. But that's pretty much it for the vehicle mode, as nice as it looks. Of course, we have to get on with his transformation. You know what that means? Time to raise the camera. Okay now. So to transform the actual cab section first, come in here, take the back of the vehicle and just pull that out. Take these blue bits, and these become the feet, as I said earlier. And just split those. Also, yes, it is loose with age. Take what were the, well, I guess what were the foot bits to get into the actual cab, and pull those out. And then just move those down. With them down and move the arms out. Take the little stomach grill, open that up, exposing his head. Move that up and slide it down, close his back up, turn the head around, and try and get him standing, which can be hard because it's an old figure, so yeah, as you can see, it compresses down quite easily. But if you can get him standing, here we have Laser Prime in his robot modes. And yeah, right off the bat, you can see my figure doesn't have any of the stickers. Because if you remember the Prime on the box, if I can show this, here we can see that normally he's supposed to have these little shoulder stickers. He's supposed to have his name on his own boobs. Sorry about that. And these little shin stickers. Although on my copy, those are not there. Like his, well, to be nice, I'll call them these chest windows. His chest windows look bland. These ones look bland. The shins look bland. So, yeah, as of right now, I don't have any of the stickers. Hopefully, if they sell reproduction stickers, I might consider buying those for this figure. But for right now, he'll have to be just bare and boring, like so. But to have a 360, we can see what was the top of the figure. The Optimus Prime stickers are sort of concealed now, but oh well. And I don't know why, maybe just because of age, but this leg compresses down way more than this one does. And that can get a bit tedious. Now, normally, as I showed earlier, because normally these would light up if you push the button. If the electronics still worked, the little hole in his fist would also light up to show the laser rod gimmick. Because what would happen is, well, you'd put the sword in his hand, it was all translucent, and you push the button, it would light the sword up. Although it only worked if the room was really dark, almost pitch black. But as I said earlier, my figure's electronics just don't work, unfortunately. And sadly, I don't have the knowledge to fix it. Well, anyway, coming for a look at his head, we can see that it looks like a typical Prime head, although it looks like he's got two little extra antenna things on the side. Because we can see what will be like the normal bits, but then we have these little small extra bits. And his head also has light piping, which is amazing. And from what I can remember, the surgery color actually had these eyes as being red. Now, for this figure's articulation, as shown with the transformation, the head can turn around 360. I guess, technically, he can sort of look down. Well, not like that, but he can sort of look down. The arms can move, although they can't do a full 360, what of the wiring for the headlights in vehicle mode. He has elbows, sideways elbow action. Thanks to the transformation, he can T-pose, and I can't really remember any figures aside from this one that require T-posing for the transformation. Although, well, I guess T-posing for the transformation is optional. You can just move them down with the arms still down, but it's easier if you make him T-pose first. But yeah, he still can T-pose. Surprisingly, he does have a waist rotation, which is amazing. Legs move up that far, go back that far. It's got knees, and can do the splits, of course. Although, sadly, there's no, like, thigh rotation, which is a letdown. Although, still, this figure is way more poseable than the original Optimus Prime figure. Now, for weapons, well, as I said earlier, normally he does have a little sword, but I don't have it. Although I do have this little gun here. Now, what you can do is either have it like this, as like a little sonar cannon. Well, not sonar cannon, but like, if you want to put this on the base, which I'll show later, you can either have it like this, or move it down, have it be an actual cannon. And said cannon can actually attach onto Prime's arm. Oh, sorry, move this out the way and put this into his arm. Sorry. But this would also light up. These bits would also light up. Although, yeah. And also, you do get this missile launcher, and he can actually hold this in his hands. Although, on my copy, thanks to the loose joints, it tends to just wear down. It just droops down unless you have it like a 90-degree angle. But this is normally how I display Laser Prime, with him in his robot mode, and his tanker still in its tanker mode. Why do I not display the tanker in its base mode? Well, it's just too big to fit on my shelves. And let's just get on to that. Now with the tanker section, I'm actually going to have to hold my phone up. So excuse the shakiness. But to get into its base mode, what I like to do is either shoot the discs out, or you can just pour them out here if you can. They're not coming out that well, so excuse me as I fire these off. There we go, I've managed to fire them off without losing them this time. And well, to get this thing into its base mode, well, what you can do is, if you can actually open it, it's going to be hard with just one hand, so excuse me while I get my phone stand. To start off, you can open this up, and in here, if I can get it out, well, right here, I have 2 missiles here. You'll see what they're for soon. Also in here, I have this rocket. And as you can see, it's just wanting to split open right now. So if I just raise my camera. Pretty much open that out like so. Have missiles spill out on you. Move this onto its back. And have more of these missiles spill on you. Because you're on camera. But, well, push that button. Well, as you can see, everything's spilt out, but what happened was, this bit moved down, while the sides of the trailer split open. And as you can see, the missiles somehow just spilt out. Normally this figure comes with 10 missiles, although I'm missing 3 of them. I've only got 7 missiles. And you can only put 5 in the actual holder section, and with the other 2, I would keep them in the missile launcher, although the missile launcher is so head trigger that it fires from mental thought alone. Because when I first got this figure, I was displaying it on my table while it's in its base mode, and missiles just kept firing and just scaring me. Just startling me, so I just decided not to keep the missiles in there. As you can see, here we have the little air bellows. And if you remember, the box had the air bellows as being orange, whereas over here it's blue. I'm assuming it's a prototype. That was a prototype on the box, but as you can see, we do have this air bellows thing that you can push. Although as you can see, the actual hose section's bit bent from being stored in there for God knows how long. We're having a look at the detail before I turn this around. So you can see it says it's alert. Got a bit of detail in here. And on the other side it says chemical attack for some reason. And well, you're actually supposed to turn this entire section around. Now for the disc launcher, lift that up and just turn that around. Come in here, move this down. This is something for the rocket. And if you remember the missile launcher I gave to Prime earlier, you're actually supposed to attach it onto this little ball joint thing here. There we go. So it can move around, it can look up, look down. Pretty much, it can actually aim. And with the other thing I gave Prime, this little cannon, if you move that down, if you see this little port at the top, just attach that on, and it becomes a little, well, if I just refer to the box, apparently this is a removable light-up laser cannon. I mean, of course it is. But then you can reload the discs. Well, one by one. There we go. And the reason I fired the disc before transforming into its base mode is these things can shoot out the back when this thing just springs open. Because this thing does spring open, as you saw earlier. Oh. Next, for the rocket, as you can see, it has a little flat end there, so you have to try and line it up so it goes in fully, like so. And you do get another rocket, although this is what happens if you leave it in the thing in its base mode. The rubber bit can just warp, so I don't use that bit. And you can put these missiles in this launcher. I'll just demonstrate with one of them. Although normally I don't do this because it's quite hair trigger. Well, it just fires itself, although it's probably just due to the age of the springs. But if you just fire one, there we go. This is pretty much the base modes. Now right here, it says danger on the rocket base thing. Still have the lock thing there. A bit more detailing here. Oh, I'm just trying to get prime. Excuse the stuff on my bed. It's just stuff that I stand aside. I mean, I use this to stand my phone when I'm reviewing big figures like this one. But here we have Prime and his base mode. Yeah, you can see why I don't display this thing in its base mode. Okay, so moving Prime aside, one last thing to show you is the actual rocket gimmick. As I've already showed you the disc launching thing earlier, and I have already shown the missile launcher. So if with the rocket, well, if you've seen G2 Combat Hero Prime and Megatron, or Sure Shot and Art Force, and or the Destructicon Scourge and Bludgeon, you'll know how this works. You get this little air bellows. Give it a good squeeze. I'm not sure if I will be able to do this. There we go. It just shoots off like so. Although it's better if you do it like really hard. So, hang on. It's best if you just try and actually slam onto it. So, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I did hit the base tab, although it actually does fire if you hit it hard enough. There we go. But that's pretty much it for the base mode. And that's pretty much it for my review on this guy. So, complaints. Well, even though this is a really good figure, I do have quite a few. One, if the gimmick breaks, well, you pretty much lost the actual main gimmick of this figure. Although, if you're used to the already Scourge figure, this shouldn't be an issue to you. Second, it can get looser with age. Because as I showed earlier, the legs can start compressing down, and the elbows can get sort of loose while holding weapons. Third, if he doesn't have the stickers, he can look a bit bland. So if there's any I cannot even speak. Is there any repel labels for this guy? I might consider getting them one day. Fourth, the trailer bit. Well, I just find the transformation a bit too violent. I mean, it just springs open really loudly, mind you. So it can be a bit startling. Next, the gimmicks can be a bit naff. I mean, this gimmick I really like, but for the missile launcher, as I said earlier, thanks to the age of the springs, they can just fire by themselves now, and that can get a bit annoying. Not to mention the rocket launcher thing. If the hose bit of the bellows is all twisted, well, it's gonna make it harder to actually do the gimmick. Seeing how it keeps twisting and turning while you're trying to push on it. And well, finally, I just hate how this figure can be a bit hard to find at times. I got really lucky with this one, even if the box is all dinged up. Although, as you can see, it's not perfect. As I said, it doesn't have the sword, the stickers are not there anymore, the gimmick itself doesn't work. But I buy my figures for display purposes. So, do I recommend this guy? Well, I would say, if you had the space to display him and his trailer, absolutely. Because, I mean, this is probably one of the most popular, if not the most popular Generation 2 figure there is. And, well, this figure was recolored multiple times. I mean, got the original figure, Scourge from RID. eHobby did reissue him with new stickers. They did an Ultra Magnus version. There's a Year of the Goat version, apparently, that has, like, weird colors. So, this guy has been recolored multiple times, so if the black color is not your cup of tea, then there are options. Although, if you don't mind this guy without the trailer, if you want the guy by himself, then sure, go ahead. The Transformers Air Force mobile game has depicted this Optimus Prime without the trailer, so it is doable. But yeah, with or without trailer, I do recommend this guy. This is it for my review on Generation 2 Laser Optimus Prime. And this is Charlie Young, signing off.